detective in a video. The video shows Detective Blake Kilpatrick hitting Charles Toney while he is in handcuffs. High-profile civil rights attorney Lee Merritt now represents Toney and plans to file a civil rights lawsuit against that officer. Sheriff Jim Hammond says Toney was checked out by a nurse and didn't need medical attention, but Merritt says medical records show his client was hurt both physically and mentally.
Mr. Toney suffered a collapsed lung. He suffered a broken nose. He suffered 2 broken ribs. He was seriously injured in this assault.
He's also looking into Officer Kilpatrick's background. Kilpatrick is one of 6 officers named in a $40 million lawsuit filed by the family of Christopher Sexton. Sexton was shot and killed by officers after a chase in 2017. The DA did rule that shooting was justified.